Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and hello if you are new. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. Please make sure you subscribe before you leave. So as you can tell from the title of the video, I'm going to be doing a full face of makeup using only Makeup Revolution, which obviously if you didn't already know and you've been living under a rock, Makeup Revolution are one of the kind of, I would say, leading makeup brands in the drugstore at the moment. They're definitely dominating when it comes to products. Like, they're probably one of the most inexpensive drugstore brands going, but their products are actually really good. So if you wanted to see how I got this rather glam look, I didn't mean to go this glam. I actually wanted it to be a little bit more of a natural everyday, but we ended up with this kind of more glam nighttime appropriate look, which I actually really like. It was super easy and also obviously super affordable because it's all Makeup Revolution. So if you wanted to see how I got this look that I am wearing right now, then just keep watching. Right, so I'm starting off with obviously a bare face. I have already prepped my skin off camera just by using a moisturiser. I'm actually not going to be priming in this video just because I don't have a primer from Makeup Revolution, and also I'm not really a primer person. I don't tend to use primer on a daily basis, so I'm going to go straight on into foundation. Foundation that I'm going to be using is the Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation. I have actually had this foundation for a while and I've used it a few times before, and I can't say I actually liked it when I used it before. So I have this in the shade F6, which I believe is my fake tan shade, and I don't have any fake tan on at the moment, so this is going to be way too dark, but we're just going to have to work with it. Okay, it's not too bad. It's definitely darker than my skin. I don't really know how much to put on, so I'm just going to start off with one side of my cheek first, and I'm going to be using a brush to blend this out, just because I've been really into using foundation brushes at the moment. This is the It Cosmetics foundation brush, which is actually a really good foundation brush. I freaking love it. I got it in a set with some other brushes as well. Okay, so far it's definitely not bad, but it's definitely on the powdery side. I think, if I remember rightly, this has a matte finish. I don't know if it tells me on here. No, it doesn't actually say on there if it's supposed to be a matte or a dewy finish, but I think, if I remember rightly, it's more of a matte finish foundation, which I don't love matte foundations, especially the ones from the drugstore. I find that the matte foundations from the drugstore can be quite dry. The shade is actually not that bad at all, to be honest. I thought it was going to be a lot darker than this. So at this point I'm actually just going to take my sponge and I'm going to just blend over with the sponge because I feel like it's looking quite dry with the brush. I don't know why I thought this foundation was too dark for me. It's actually too pale for me, if anything. Okay, so this is what the foundation looks like on. I'm gonna come up close so you can see. It definitely is on the powdery side. I don't know if you can see. It's kind of separating a little bit around my nose. I don't know if you know what I mean by that. It's just a little bit overly matte and full coverage for me. I'm very much into my kind of dewier, more lightweight foundations at the moment, or at least more of a medium coverage, not necessarily a full. So it is a nice foundation and it's good for the price, but I don't think I will be reaching for that one often. Next, for concealer, I think this is a new concealer. This is the Revolution Conceal and Define Infinite Longwear Crease Proof Concealer. They actually didn't have any testers of this in my Superdrug that I bought this from, so I had to just kind of go in blind, and I actually got the shade C7, which I think this is going to be too dark for me, just ever so slightly. I probably should have gone for about C5 in hindsight, considering the foundation is F6, but we're going to put this under my eyes anyway and see how we get on. Yeah, it's definitely too dark. I don't know if you can really see on camera, but this is more of an orangey shade for me. Well, that's so annoying. I hate it when Superdrug doesn't have any testers, because it's like you end up buying the product and it's like potluck if it actually works for you or not. I'm just gonna blend that with my sponge. Actually, the coverage looks really good though. It's blending so easily, like literally I just did a few taps and that's blended out. I actually completely forgot to pick up a powder from Revolution. I'm very fussy with powder, very fussy, and there's only literally two powders that I actually have tried, and I've tried a lot, that I actually like and would recommend and would repurchase. So I'm just going to quickly go off camera and powder my under eyes, and then I'm going to come back to do the rest of the skin. Okay, so I just powdered my under eye off camera and I really don't think I like this concealer. I think it just looks too heavy for me personally. I really love my Too Faced Born This Way concealer, which is a really good coverage, but it doesn't look heavy and cakey and concealery underneath the eyes. This you can really see, and when I don't know if you can see, but when I go like this, you can kind of see the little lines under my eyes. It's really exaggerating any kind of little fine lines I have. Colour's not for me, which is my own fault, but the actual consistency and formula of it also is just too heavy for me. But that's just me personally. I need to add some colour into this face because I literally look like I've just died. So I'm gonna go in with some bronzer now, and this is actually a palette from Patricia Bright collaboration with Revolution, obviously. So this is the Moonlight Glow palette, and this basically has a bronzer, a blusher and highlighter in, which if this is good, this is going to be a game changer, because this was literally £8 and this is like all you would need for your face makeup. So like if you're traveling, this is literally perfect, and it's very small and in this kind of nice like tin case. They did have some darker shades obviously as well for darker skin, but I think I got the palest one because obviously I am very, very fair. So I'm going to go in with the bronzer shade of this. I don't think I've ever used a Revolution bronzer before. Okay, it's actually not as pigmented as I thought it would be, which I quite like because I like to be able to build my bronzer. Okay, I actually quite like that. I think I've put on a bit too much. I freaking love Patricia Bright. I think she's one of my favourite kind of YouTubers or creators or whatever you want to call her. She is just so down to earth and funny, and yeah, I just love her. And I know this collection actually launched quite a while ago, but I didn't pick it up. I didn't get my hands on it earlier, so this is the first time using anything from her collection, and so far I think she's done a pretty good job. My brows look freaking atrocious when I do this. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with the blush. The blush is definitely more on the kind of corally side, which I usually prefer more of a pink blush, but this is definitely a pinky coral. It's not like straight up orange, so hopefully this is going to be a colour that I will like. Ah, this one is quite pigmented. I think I put too much on again. No, why am I like this? I'm just putting that on with the same brush because I'm lazy and I can't be bothered to get a new one. It's actually a really nice colour. Like I would definitely wear that, even though I don't really like corally blushes as much on me. I feel like they don't flatter my skin as much as more pinky ones do, but actually that's a really nice colour. It's not too orange. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this angled brush. It's quite a big angled brush, and I'm just going to take a tiny bit of that bronzer down the sides of my nose. This isn't really to nose contour, but just to give my nose a bit more of a kind of colour, because I feel like it's looking really pale and I don't like it. So I'm just going to add a little bit more colour down the sides of my nose. Next I'm going to go in with the highlight, and I did actually just swatch this on my hand and it does look really pretty. So I'm just going to go in with a Morphe brush and just put this on the tops of my cheeks. Okay, it's okay. It's definitely giving me a glow. It's definitely not my favourite highlighter that I own. I feel like it looks a little bit more powdery than I would want it to. It's not really showing up like that on camera. On camera it looks quite glossy, but in person it's definitely emphasising the texture on my skin and it's not looking as kind of glossy as I would like, and it is looking a little bit more powdery. It's definitely not bad though. Like for a palette that was £8, how much is that per product? Like about £1.7, no. Why can't I do simple math? I think it's about £2.60 or so for one pan. So for a £2.60 highlighter, it's definitely not bad, but it's definitely not one that I would see myself reaching for on a daily basis. Now I'm going to do my brows, and I have had this palette for literally for about 3 years, because I actually used this palette when I was training in makeup, which was back when I was about 17. So yeah, this has seen better days. It's all cracked and stuff here, but this is basically the brow palette. So this is called the Bulletproof palette, fair to medium, and this is what it looks like inside. So you basically just get brow powders, and then I believe these are like kind of highlighting products, which I don't ever use. I only used to use like these two brow products. Yeah, I haven't used this for literally years because I'm such a pencil girl now. I used to really love this palette and used to always use this for my brow powder, but nowadays I just like to pencil them in. But I'm going to use this for the sake of the video because obviously I want this to be all Revolution. So I'm actually going to take this shade here. I used to use this shade all the time, but I feel like my brows aren't actually that dark. They're more like this colour. So I'm going to use that to fill in my brows. I'm just going to use this Jeffree Star brow brush to do that. I remember though, I used to love the way my brows used to look with this powder. Like I literally used to think I had the best brow routine ever, but I definitely prefer using a pencil nowadays. I really don't feel like I'm getting a good shape with this. I don't know why. It's taken me so long to do this brow. Okay, the brows are done. I'm really not obsessed. I feel like they look a lot better when I use my own brow pencil, but that's just me personally because I like to use a brow pencil over a powder. But they definitely don't look awful. They're just not my usual kind of brow preference, if that makes sense. So now moving on on to eyes. I did just quickly curl my eyelashes off camera as well so that I won't have to do that in a second, but I'm going to be using this palette, which is another collab, and this is actually from Kami, and this is the Make the Magic shadow palette. I've had this palette for quite a while and I've only used it maybe once or twice because the colour scheme doesn't really scream out to me. There's a few shimmer shades in here that I really like, but overall the colour scheme is not really my thing. But I am going to try it again today and try and get a cool look out of this. I'm feeling like going for maybe this orange and this kind of pinky shade here. These ones are the ones that are kind of cooling out, and then maybe possibly this dark one. But yeah, I'm just going to see what ends up happening, to be honest. So first of all, I'm going to go into this shade here, which is the shade Overcome. I've tried a lot of Revolution eyeshadows before, and for me personally, I find that they can be very hit and miss. Some shades are really good, and then other shades are just not so good. This shade is really nice though. That's actually really pigmented. Let me zoom in a bit so you can see. So this shade I'm just putting kind of all in the crease of my eye. As I said, I don't really know where I'm going with this. I'm just going to kind of wing it. This reminds me of Pillow Talk from Charlotte Tilbury, actually, this particular shade. It's kind of similar to one of the shades in the original Pillow Talk palette. I'm just going to go in with another little layer of that to build it up. Okay, that colour applied really nice. I actually really like the way that looks. I don't really know where to go from here though, because there's not really many other kind of pinky colours in the palette. Do you guys see what I mean in terms of the colour scheme? Like, where do I go from here? Like, I've obviously used the pink. Now I guess I could go in with this shade, but then it's going to be very dark. So yeah, I don't really know what to do. I don't really like palettes that I have to really think about it, if you know what I mean. Like, I prefer to just look at a palette and be like, yes, I can create this look and this look and this look. This palette I just have to think a little bit too hard, and I don't really like that, but that's just me. I am going to go in with this dark shade here, and I'm going to take it on a very small brush so that I don't overload it, and I'm just going to stamp it on my outer corner. Why does this colour literally look basically black? I do have a feeling as well that this is going to blend a little bit patchy. Okay, so I'm just building up that colour on the outer corner. I didn't actually want to go as dark as this. I wanted this to be more of a daytime look. But here we are. This will have to do. I am going to blend it out now so it's a little bit more blended. So I'm just going to go back in with that first shade and just blend the edge of that there, just so there's no harsh lines. I do feel like this shade is slightly patchy. I don't know if that's my fault from the way I've applied it. I'm just going to go back over it again. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to kind of drag it a little bit in and kind of smudge it a little bit along the lash line. So I don't know if you can see, I'm just kind of going like directly across. And then I'm going to go back in with the other shade and just blend. And I'm going to put a little bit more of that shade on my kind of inner corner as well. Have I just made a mess, or have I just low-key made a really good eye look? I can't actually decide. I feel like I kind of like it in a weird way. It's definitely not what I expected to do. So now what I'm going to do is take the slightly smaller brush for my lower lash line, and I'm going to use that first shade we used, and I'm just going to smoke that right underneath. I really like this pink shade. This pink shade is actually proper sick. I actually would go as far to say that I like this pink shade more than I like the one in the Pillow Talk palette. And now I'm going to take that same small brush, dip into that dark purple, and then just go underneath. Just on the outer corner though, because I do want to focus this just on the outer corner. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dip into the highlight shade in the Patricia Bright palette, and I'm just going to put that in the inner corner just to brighten up the eyes. Wow, why does it look so bright in there? Right, so just really quickly jumped off camera and did the other eye, and this eye definitely didn't go as good as this eye. This eye is my good eye, which is why I always do it on camera. This eye, just don't look at it, okay? It's just not. So I'm now going to go in with a bit of mascara. I actually might use lashes today just because I feel like this look is quite dramatic, so if I didn't use lashes it might look a bit odd. But yeah, this mascara that I'm going to use from Revolution is the Mascara Revolution. I've heard quite a few people talk about this and say it's quite a good mascara. So I'm going to put a generous layer on just to start me off, and then if I still feel like I need lashes, I'm going to go in with those as well. So this is how the mascara looks. I just put about 2 coats on my upper and bottom lashes just so you can see how the actual eyes and mascara looks. I am still going to go in with lashes just because I feel like this eye look needs them, because it's just too dramatic to just not have lashes on. So the lashes that I'm going to go in with are my Ardell Wispies. I've been really enjoying these at the moment. They're not too overpowering, so when you have more dramatic eye makeup, you still want to be able to see it through the lashes, but you still want the lashes to look like kind of dramatic. These sit somewhere in between dramatic and natural, and I really, really love them. So yeah, I'm just going to pop off camera and pop those on, and then I'll be back to finish off the lips. Okay, lashes are on, and now I'm just going to finish off with lips. I actually thought I ordered a lip liner, but I didn't. So that's annoying. I've only got lipstick. The lipstick that I'm going to be going in with is in the shade Greatest, and as you can see, this has been used and abused, so I haven't got much left. But this is a really nice kind of everyday neutral colour, which will go perfect for the eye look, because obviously it is more of a dramatic one. So okay, and that is pretty much it, guys. So that is my full face of makeup revolution. I'm actually really impressed. I feel like actually looking at the finished result, you would not know that some of these products are not either high-end or a little bit more expensive. Like, they honestly look really good. If you guys wanted to see me do this kind of video for any other brand, whether it be drugstore or high-end, do let me know in the comments below, because yeah, I quite enjoy it doing these kind of all brand tutorials. So if there's a single brand that you guys can think of that you want to see, do let me know, and I can definitely think about filming that for you guys. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a like and also subscribe if you haven't already. That would be amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.